Hey there, Taurus, and welcome back to Bon Echo Tarot. I am here with February's report just for you. So if you haven't already, and the link is up here, I think. Yeah, I think that's where it is. So the link is up here. That will take you to the Global Village Collective reading. And that will give you an idea of what everybody is going through, and not just you. Because everybody's going through it this month. You are not the only one. But in some ways, you've been getting used to the unpredictability because you've had Uranus in your sign for about 2 years, which means you've got another 5 years to go, by the way. And essentially that kind of, slow, methodical Taurus who, is able to really kind of survey the landscape and take your time making your decisions, it hasn't been that easy to stay with that status quo with Uranus in your sign. Uranus is shaking things up. It's also the ruler for Aquarius. So you end up being the opposition point to everything that's happening in February. And so you've also got Mars that just moved into your sign in January, and it stays with you for at least 2 months. So you've got Uranus shaking things up and Mars moving things forward and quite aggressively. And so, Mars is also the sign of war and aggression and whatnot. So it's a time to definitely be cautious if you're a Taurus, because there are a lot of potential transits and aspects, alignments, oppositions, squares, that sort of thing through the month of February that can create situations where it's going to create a big mess that you may have to clean up later. But by the same token, these experiences where we get shaken up can be catalysts that actually move us into a place that we wouldn't necessarily have chosen ourselves, but it ends up being exactly the right place where we're supposed to be. So it's not all bad. So, but I feel like I need to caution you just because, having Uranus in your sign for this long is one thing, especially for a Taurus, but to be in opposition as we all walk through this threshold to the age of Aquarius and the way that it's testing each one of us and how we can adapt to change. So where this is really focusing a lot of energy in is your 10th house, which is your house of career, of reputation, and possibly even fame. So with all of this sort of thing, it's going to be focused on Aquarian themes like communication and technology and all of that sort of thing. So you may find that you're integrating more of those Aquarian aspects in the way that you run your career. And, you could also be promoting things more online and really getting your face out there and advancing things through the technology. So that's the stellium that's happening in Aquarius. Or as I like to call it, a planet party. So the next thing I want to take a look at is the Mercury retrograde, specifically in Aquarius, which is basically the entire month of February except for the last 8 days. Mercury retrograde, as I said in the global reading, is really about delays and frustrations, miscommunications, all that kind of thing. So, and back up any of your technology diligently, especially if you're a Taurus person who does a lot of work with technology. You're going to have to really, really, really be diligent to back things up, to make sure that everything, that you've got all the plugins or that you've got all the apps that you need in order to get your work done. If you're doing a project that's going to require a lot of storage, get those drives now. and or make arrangements for a cloud situation. But it's going to be one of those months, more so than any other Mercury retrograde this year, that you're really going to want to keep an eye on that. What Mercury retrograde is good for, though, is reviewing things. So if you need to be, retraining anything or relearning anything that's going to help you, with all of the energy that you have in this house, you actually could be in the process of retraining for a promotion opportunity that's come up for you. So yeah, good time to review your strategies as well. Maybe even polish up your resume, and just generally refresh anything that you're doing to rejuvenate, add more energy into your career. So here's where the interplay between the Aquarius energies and Uranus and Taurus. This is where the tensions start. So this is when Saturn is square Uranus. And go back to the global reading to find out the other 2 dates when this kind of thing will occur, because there's 2 more times that it happens. That it happens this year. So this first time is February 17th. And this is happening in your 10th house, square your first house. So you may have a crisis around, is the work I'm doing really reflecting me and what I truly desire? Am I in my vocation? Is my work spiritually fulfilling? It's these kinds of things. Maybe you've been in a career that isn't really doing anything for you, or you've been putting all this energy into something, thinking about these old Piscean age kind of value judgments around, well, I have to stay in this job because when you're responsible, you stay in this job, and you're reliable and you're dependable, which are all very true. But as we move into the new age, this is exactly the kind of thinking that we have to kind of put to the side. What the Aquarius energies are making all of us do is really look within and say, like, are you fulfilling your life purpose? And is that reflected in your career? And is my career really sustaining me as a human being, more so than just keeping a roof over my head or food on my table? Is it inspiring me? Is it energizing me? Because ultimately, when we're in harmony with what we do, then we're much healthier, and we're better people for the people in our lives. So that's the kind of thing that you're going to be working with. So to also kind of, like within this same realm is basically the dynamic of having Mars and Uranus in your sign. And so again, this is in your first house. And so you're one of the signs that is, kind of in a fertile place to have an existential crisis, which is good news, because this existential crisis is going to move you into another place where you're actually going to be happier, no matter how much you go kicking and screaming, and and sometimes that's how it's got to be. And again, no judgment. So try to just, not get too caught up in holding on to things. The energies generally for the entire collective is really about letting go. And that Mercury retrograde is kind of one last look at how things used to work in our lives and how we used to, conduct ourselves, and how we prepare ourselves for a completely new paradigm. So be easy on yourself, be really gentle, and realize that change is not easy for anyone, least of all you. But that all of the lessons that you're learning are lessons in learning how to accept change better. So now that we kind of get out of this, sticky stuff that you're primarily going to feel in the latter part of the month. When we hit the new moon in Aquarius February 11th, just prior to all of that tension, this is where you're likely to have a nice time, in the sense that you're going to be surrounded by reminders of what truly is your vocation and what gives you joy. So, and how you want your community to see you. What is your role within the community? What is the role that you have within your work and within your workplace or with your clients? So that's February 11th, new moon in Aquarius. So the full moon in Virgo, February 27th, is happening in your 5th house. So it's like you get inspired around the new moon, around the 11th, and you get a bunch of challenges to, things that are currently in your life that are not going to facilitate these desires that came to you at the new moon. And then, after all of the stress and the tension around these points like February 17th, probably February 17th through to the 22nd is going to be your toughest time of the month. Because then when we get to the 27th, we've got a full moon in Virgo. And that full moon is going to be in your 5th house of joy, of soulmates, of romance, of play, of fun. It's just the 5th house is the best. And what this particular full moon, as you say goodbye to February, probably quite gratefully, is you're going to appreciate the sweetness that you feel within your home with your family and the people who are closest to you, whether they're blood or not. It's like this is what brings you joy. So whatever career you're going to have that helps to facilitate that and bring more sweetness into your experience with the people that you love is what's going to be the best thing for you. And if you're not doing that right now, the universe is going to show you exactly what needs to change between the 17th and the 22nd. So watch for that. All right, so that is the astrology for you, Taurus. So let's pull out the cards. I put my notes over there. All right, so here we go. Let's see what's going on for Taurus in the tarot. Let's see what's happening. All right. Yeah, the moon. The moon is going to be very key for you. So, lean into the moon experience, because both of them look to be fairly okay for you. It's just the jazz from Uranus that's square Saturn that's going to be the tough part. Oh, look at this. That's fantastic. Well, that's a great way to start your reading, Taurus. The Ace of Cups. So this could be a new beginning in love, whether it's an existing relationship or something new. And it also could be, if you're not partnered, you could be finding, love and appreciation for yourself that you hadn't seen before. Your obstacle, though, unfortunately, is the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords represents sneaky behavior, maybe a little theft, or deception. So it's not my favorite card, I'll be honest. Ah, yes. And so we've got the Five of Wands. So yeah, there definitely could be some conflicts. There could be, let's see what's going on. In the past, we had the Ace of Wands, so a new passionate beginning. maybe things, maybe you've started a new project recently. Well, there you are, Queen of Pentacles, doing pretty good. You're watching your money, and you're receptive. You're feeling nurturing. You may even be feeling very maternal. We've got the Five of Cups, so sadness and disappointment, possibly in the near future. And you are bound by the Eight of Swords. So this is bound by thought. You also could be in a quarantine kind of situation. I was trying to remember the context of the world situation and how that can influence people's circumstances. And then you've got the Nine of Wands in your environment. So it's kind of like holding the fort. It's like a long sustained effort to do so. Which can result in exhaustion. But yeah, by the looks of it, it seems as though someone has your back. And there we have in your hopes and fears section, the Lovers. So, we've got the Ace of Cups. So maybe you already know who this is. There also could be a Gemini somewhere in your experience. So let's see. And we've got the Queen of Swords. So Aquarian energy here. If you happen to be, if you happen to have an Aquarian around you, the Queen of Pentacles can also represent another Earth sign, or it could represent your mom. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We've got Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Yeah. Not a whole lot of fire. A little bit. So, look at that. Okay. So ultimately, where things are going is reunion. And celebration. So let me take a look here and let's see what's going on. So, there's like, definitely a new beginning. Maybe something that started off super passionate, and now the feels, like now the love, like the actual heart stuff is kind of creeping in. And you may not have the courage to actually share that, maybe somebody that, has been a hookup, friend with benefits, you're actually falling for them. And so because you're suppressing the love, because it's like, oh no, yeah, we're fine. Yeah, what? Now you're fighting. So, but it's like, this is just a pause. This is just part of the struggle that's gonna provide for clarity. And I think that, regardless of whatever passion or love is involved in this equation, what's going to give you peace is clarity. So, So yeah, maybe you're going to feel sad. Maybe you're going to, the thing is though, is that, here's the Five of Cups. So you're looking at the cups that have fallen and spilled. Uh-oh, where'd all the love go? It went away. It's going to the river. But the Two of Cups is still here. So it's like, there could be a transformation, that it was like, something occurred and you thought that it meant it was over. But really, the old part had to be over so that you could, where is it? Go here. You know, because this is what's waiting for you on the other side of the grief is true love. And, you know, it could be with the same person. It could be with somebody different. It also could be something that has nothing to do with love, and that it's a partnership or a really good friend. You know, there's so many changes and shifts happening right now that, you know, entire communities are going to shift and break away and morph into something else entirely, because we're all kind of being shaken out of our comfort zone so that we find out what's really important to us. And then we start looking for people who are in that same zone. So if we're not in there right now. So you're trapped in all of these feels, you know, and your thoughts, and, you know, it's like, you know, you're feeling drained. You're feeling like the joy has been drained from a situation. Very dark night of the soul, Taurus. But whoever it is that's around you, they're there for you, man. Like, even if they're not in the same room, even if they've put distance between the two of you, they know that this is a process. And they're not walking away. Regardless of whether this is business or otherwise. This person has faith in you. And, you know, it's like, and they're watching over you. They can see how tortured you are. And even though you may not be together right now, the divine has got you covered. Look at the angel on top of everything. The angel's got you covered. And you're going to get clarity. You know? The Aquarian energies are going to give you clarity, even if it doesn't feel good when it's happening. So let me get a few clarifying cards out. And we'll see how much more of the story we can get here. So, all right. So there could be a fire sign that could be part of this passion. Or an Aquarius. But this person, you know, has given you a lot of hope at various times, and they may be providing hope for you now. You know, this could be the person who's got your back while you're blindfolded and feeling depleted and drained. So, what is the Seven of Swords all about? About the Hierophant. So the Hierophant can represent Taurus. You may be lying to yourself, you know. The Hierophant can also represent commitment. So, and it can represent marriage. So, remember at the beginning of the story, it was like, oh yeah, you know, we're just friends with benefits. And it's like, maybe you think you want to marry this person. And that's got you freaked out. And yeah, you're keeping it real quiet. And yeah, the fights are having because of the anxiety. You know, it's like, this is the thing. When you suppress your feelings, then they pop out in other places that have nothing to do with the thing that originally got you feeling this way. And sometimes it's unrecognizable, and you're not even conscious that this is happening. So again, be really cautious about your own motives and around the motives of the people that you're interacting with. Oh, oi, oi, oi. So we've got the Five of Wands, which is the fights and arguments and disagreements. Then we had the Nine of Swords, anxiety, and then the Ten of Swords. So here's the good news. Whatever, it can't get any worse than what it's going to be in February. That even if March still sucks, it's going to be better than February. And so you could be looking at some significant betrayal. You've got the 8, 9, and 10. So this is definitely a process, along with the lines of fate that are intersecting our free will. I took that line from the Aquarius Papers. He's brilliant, by the way. You should check him out. But there are fated events that are beyond all of our control that are due to arrive at different points in February. February 17th being that big one that I was telling you about. And it's going to make you emotional. So, or, where situations get to a point where it's like you're done and you crack open, and it's a beautiful thing. It's not something that happens a lot. There could be a Leo in your life somewhere, but it also could be you who is getting a handle on the animus part of who you are, really wrestling that beast within and getting a higher perspective on your situation. Not giving in to those lower emotions, as much as you have. Yeah, in the past, we've got the Fool on top of the Ace of Wands. And so, could be an Aries, but, this also could have been, just an adventurous little romp, and it, it stirred up a lot of passion within you. So, yeah, you don't want to move forward right now. You're just kind of, again, leaning into that Taurus, checking out the landscape thing, being the wallflower, keeping an eye on everybody, It's not going to be that easy, Taurus, And if you actually do move from your position, you actually move out of the drama into much calmer waters in your life. Movement is the key. This is not movement. This is not movement. And even as fantastic as she is, this is not movement, But you've gotta add movement to your equation. And, if I can even recall previous readings that I've done for Taurus, is that, you can feel change on the horizon. And you've been feeling it for about 2 years. But because it doesn't fit with your program, you're dismissing it. And it's like Uranus is going to stay with you for 5 years. So you might want to see how you can work with it and realize that as long as you just keep moving, things should get better. So move through sticky situations like sadness and betrayal. That keeping these feelings in that you have for someone is making you sad. you know, or, you know, at the very worst, I mean, somebody could have been lying to you, and it's made you sad, and it's trapped you in your head. But you have people, you have at least one person who is watching you. You know, not in a stalker, creepy way, but in a way that's like, I got my eye on this one because I know they're going through a rough time. That's the dynamic that I'm feeling here. But let's dig more into this Seven of Swords and see what's happening. Oh, Eight of Cups. So somebody's walking away, or somebody has walked away. You know, after planting some seeds. So there's a process. There's definitely a process going on here. Let's get another card on the Eight of Swords. The Devil. So, dark night of the soul, my friend. Be kind to yourself. You know, this is the time. This is the time to let it go. Whatever toxic thinking or habits that you have that are standing in the way of you knowing how awesome you are, because that's the common theme for all of us, and the universe just wants to support you. And so this person who has their eye on you may not even be anywhere close to you right now. They're just watching, like I said, not in a stalker kind of way, but out of genuine concern because they know you. And so, you know, at a certain point, they're going to realize, okay, it's time to communicate. And they're going to come in and they're going to say, hey, I'm here. Could be a soulmate. Somebody from the past, or someone who resonates with you so well that it's almost as if you've known them your entire life. That's basically the vibration that comes off of that card. And it's playful, it's genuine, it's really lovely. So, you know, this person, like I said, is somewhere around you, and they're a true match for you. Ooh! And the realization of that is going to shake you up. You know, it could be a scenario where it's like you thought all along that it was this one person that was your soulmate, and then they let you down so bad that the real one kind of pops up right away and says, hi, need anything? Wow. I think that the month of February is going to be one that you remember for a very long time, Taurus. I think a lot of signs are going to be experiencing that, but especially you. Yeah, look at that. See? And it brings us full circle to the end of the reading. In terms of the surrounding energies, there's a definite reunion that's going to occur between you and someone. Look at that. That you have fought with. But, you know, it's like, this is the struggle to get to, you know, sometimes urban renewal, you know, like you've got to crash down the old stuff so that you can build up the new. And sometimes, like I said, a fight or a conflict can be the catalyst towards a new beginning. in a place where you really belong. And that's the gift of having Uranus in your sign. Even though it's going to drive you crazy from time to time. Oh, there we go. Yeah, see? Look at this. So we've got, on the Queen of Swords, we got the King of Cups. So this is clarity and emotional availability, you know, and this is a really good pair. So, yeah, could also be a water sign that's coming into the picture. It could also be a father figure of some sort who's come in really quickly to save the day kind of deal, to help pick you up. Work together, work it out. Yeah. And then, you know, you'll be able to start making some plans. You know? It's like you need to have something shake you up through February that's going to free your mind so that you actually start making new plans. You know? And if you look back, you've probably been poked a little bit. And, you know, if you don't, you know, want to change things this time around, then there'll be other times, you know, when Saturn and Uranus square off in the rest of the year, when, you know, you'll be reminded or you'll be supported because you're going with the program. You know? It's just the stars. It's not me. I swear. But, you know, this is where you're at. And I know that this kind of place is torture for a Taurus. But, you know, the new moon in Aquarius is going to be pivotal for you. And you actually may find yourself more prone to doing things like meditation to get through the times when you're not feeling the clarity. But I can tell you right now that not only is clarity coming, but so is emotional maturity and support and availability, and there's plans, you know? So don't let the events of February spook you too much. Just go with it, breathe. Try not to allow Mars to stir up your anger, and trust that people have your back, that there are people around you who have your back, because they do. All right? So Taurus, I hope you found this reading helpful. I am really grateful for your support here at YouTube. I do have an extended reading available at my Patreon site. The link is down below. If you found this reading resonated with you, please share, like, and subscribe. Make a comment if you found it was really resonant. And if you've got some particularly sticky issues that you'd like a little bit more personal attention to, contact me at Bonico Tarot on Facebook, and I'll be happy to set up an appointment. In the meantime, I have a preview of what's in the extended reading just after this reading, followed by a little promo by me for my new project, which is a little talk show kind of thing, basically conversations between me and my friends, called Bonico and Friends. So stay tuned, check it out, and join me on Sundays. I think that's when I'm going to release them. So yeah, and take care. We'll see you again. Oops. See, I'm kind of out of my routine, and that was crazy intense reading for you guys that I totally forgot. 2 of the cards, actually 4. 3 cards that I planned on pulling for you. So here I am, Oracle of E, to lighten things up. Okay, so Taurus, I swear to God, there has been at least 2 or 3 videos that I've put up for you that says hasta la, well, not, maybe it doesn't say hasta la vista, baby, but it is like, are you going to go? You know, you want to go, but you're not going yet. But are you going? You know, there's a destination that you know you want to get to. And you may not be telling people about it, but it's where you want to go. So maybe it's time to go. And how much do you need the world to shake you up in order to realize it's time to go? Heartbeat. Listen to your heart. Your heart's going to answer that question for you. You know, if you have problems connecting with your heart, put your hand on your heart and ask the question. And see what happens. Now, what does Marshall have to say for you? So, I am pulling 2 cards. One is the energy of your universal experience, and then the advice from your superconscious. So here's the energy of your universal experience. With databanks, we are taped, typed, and scrubbed. So the only thing I'm going to point to for this one is it's talking about databanks. Back up your stuff this month. Back it up. Oh, that's going to be the title of your video. Look at that. See? Back it up. Oh, that's kind of funny. Because Aries, I called monk it up. So back it up. Maybe we're on a roll here. So advice from your superconscious. This is an interesting card. Again, I'm not interpreting this. This is going to be for you. So the silicone bosom symbolizes the thin edge of the trial balloon. All right. I think that's it now. I think I got you covered. Have a good month, Taurus. It's like if you kind of came out of nowhere for them and they have a relationship, or they were already about to leave a relationship, you know, they're just wanting to do things the right way. Maybe they have rules of their own. Maybe you found somebody with this rules thing. Taurus. So, all right, let's see what happens with the underlying. What's really going on, kind of unconsciously, for both of you and between you. Well, self-worth. I mean, you know, join the planet. Everybody's kind of doing it in their own way. Maybe there's something to this where you feel like you've really made a mistake. Both of you kind of maybe confused about how you feel about the other. Maybe it hasn't been something you've communicated directly about, but you got lucky. Somebody actually may have tipped you off to this person. Yeah, somebody who's willing to stand with you. And yeah, and that unlocked a little bit of gossip. Somebody may have lost a little bit of money, but it also solidified and anchored something, that whatever losses had been felt were just kind of the cost of doing business.
Uncle Bob, Robert Anton Wilson, a contemporary to Timothy Leary.
Marshall's like, amen, sister. Amen.
Right?